everyone, this is Major Arlene reporting, and welcome back to Doom Mod Reviews. This is Doom Mod Review number 413. This is Fall of Triton. Doom 2, map 1. Doom. Motherfucker. Doom 2. Oh, I didn't want it on ultra violence. God fucking damn it. That's cool. It's okay. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Okay. Well, it looks cool. All those funky lighting effects. I kind of missed them. If y'all remember UIC Enterprise Reboot with Obake, he did all those funky lighting schemes in his maps, and I miss that actually. The only thing that would make this better right now is like if you had PSX Doom music in there with it. I need to play PSX Doom again actually, I really want to. This is apparently going to be a megawatt at some point, so it's still in production, but this is like a demo that somebody gave me. So, I would have easily died there had I been horrible with my aim, but luckily I'm very great with aim. I feel like you could have just like skipped that whole thing and not worried about it, because you don't need it to progress. Now? Okay. So far it's kind of big and chunky. It's not really, there's not many details, it's not very refined right now. Obviously it's a demo, but if this is your completed level or levels thus far, they're kind of chunky and bland. There's not really a whole lot to them necessarily, so I'm a sucker for detailing, I really am. I've kind of tried to get away from, is it just playable, to what are the aspects of it? What does it look like? How does the gameplay feel? I'm trying to get away from just the playability of the maps, because let's face it, I'm a horrible Doom player. Straight up, but and I can admit it, so, you know, but, and I'm sure that doesn't necessarily make it okay, but, you know, I've done this stuff for so long that I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm just like, yeah, well, it's okay. I'm flawed, but it's okay. Nobody's perfect. I think part of it also has to do with like my experiences in college. College makes you really either grow as a person or shrink as a person. It just really depends on how you view it. Like, part of my issue I think with college is that you're not as motivated to learn because not everybody gives a damn about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's very little, like, people just don't seem to care a ton about school and learning. And it's not that I'm necessarily unmotivated to learn. I love learning. But there's nobody who's really made it feel like it's been worth it to try to learn something. Learn accounting and things like that. It just doesn't, sometimes it just doesn't feel like it's really worth it. Because there's not as many people who are passionate about it. But accountants, I think, have kind of fallen into that stereotype of just being boring and dull, and it's really sad because I feel like accountants can be really cool and they do a lot of really badass stuff actually, but it's all in numbers and people therefore find them kind of boring. So I'm not really, I think I'm not necessarily a numbers person, but I'm somebody who enjoys solving issues, I think. And I try to enjoy solving problems because it's a challenge, it's something to think about, it's something to do, you know. Oh, secret. Cool. Alright, I got one. That's cool. I don't know if I... Oh, and that was the only secret in the map, too. It was like a super duper obvious one. Oops. Oh well, that's okay. The beginning monster count is misleading on this, which I tend to be irritated about a lot of the time, but that's okay. I'll forgive it because you're spawning monsters in it. It doesn't necessarily reflect the whole monster count. I guess it's kind of cheating in a way to have your monster count in there, but I don't necessarily... It's not like one of those like overt cheats, it's just like one of those cheats of how done are you with this map and things like that. It tends to detract, I think, a little bit sometimes, but... Okay, that's just like randomly lit for no reason. Hello? Hello? Oh. Fucking what? Oh, okay, they all spawned out here. Why didn't you spawn them in the tunnel? That was kind of like a pointless thing to have if you didn't spawn them in the tunnel. That would have been a great way to do that. The thing is with Doom and stuff like that, like, you tend to want to take everything, use every little bit of stuff to your advantage. Like, that's an important thing, I think. Okay, well that is it for Fall of Triton. It's actually not a bad map, it's just, it needs a lot more detailing. It's kind of bland. I like the fact that you're using creative lighting because that's always been a favorite of mine, but make sure you don't use that as like something to lean on when you're making your maps, because you want your maps to be pretty regardless of your lighting. So lighting does add to it, but just make sure it isn't trying to do all the work for you, because it tends to actually detract a little bit, especially those really saturated reds. Like those would be great. Like, make sure when you're doing color, ask yourself, why am I using this color? Why does it make sense in this room? Like, I'm somebody who's, I guess, huge on color theory, so let me get on my soapbox real quick. So color kind of just, in a way, it conveys a mood when you're working on anything. Especially with Doom. I feel like your lighting is really important, and the reason lighting worked in UAC Enterprise was because there was a reasoning for those color lights, and there was always a reason. They always kind of made sense, and they kind of fit with the general theme of the map. But when you kind of have them in random succession in a map that's kind of like a tech base, you have to really think about why you're using those colors the way that you're using them. Like, the red would be great if you have like a high alert area or something like that, or to cover like an entire wing, like the red wing. Like, just make sure you have like some sort of thematic thing that can kind of be implied in Doom. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but just kind of have a way to sort of apply that theme as you're going through the map, because if not, it just becomes a random jumbled mess of colored rooms that are bland. So, and make sure you make good use of all your space. Like, that tunnel leading up to that yellow key would have been a great place to spawn those demons, and you have a fight all the way back up to the exit room, and that would have been great, but lost opportunity. But again, this is just a demo, it's not a final product, so just, I'm trying to keep that in mind, but I just hope I gave you some helpful pointers to start out with, and I hope you hopefully use them. If you don't, it's okay, I'm just one person, but I'd like to see what it looks like when it's finished, so feel free to send it to me when you're done. Alright, y'all, I'll see you next time. Until then, this is Major Arlene. Over and out.